after high school, is that when you kind of like got back into into the hardcore
Yeah,
bodybuilding
after
thing?
high school, because I graduated at a buck 38, so I was always the lanky kid, I was still fit. I do my like push-ups, sit-ups, pull-ups here and there, but I never took dieting or supplements or training as serious as one time I just had an epiphany. I had a girlfriend in college and I went to go visit her up in Texas State and I went to a frat party with them, and I was, being from Laredo, you go up to San Marcos, it's only about 300 miles away, but just the difference in size and the population over there with like these people, I'm walking around at a buck 38 little dude, just in a metal band, and I'm just looking at all these other like athlete type people. I'm just like, shit, like I'm gonna be out in college soon, like.
I need to do something to fucking grow. That's what people don't realize
Yeah.
is I think I was the same way. I was like 135 when I graduated, and that's when I started bodybuilding.
Yeah.
So for that reason, I was like, man, like, I was like the to me it was like that ironic. Oh, he's so small and cute, and school, and I was like, fuck, I want to be
Yeah.
cute
I'm
and
be cute.
small. I want to be exactly. That's what we get into
Yeah.
the magazines, and that's how I kind of got into working out,
Uh-huh.
and the passion just grew from there.
Yeah. No, and that's exactly it. The passion grew. It's like I I I got back to Laredo. I looked in the mirror and I was like, what am I good at? Like, what do I want to do other than what I'm gonna study for? And it just like fitness. I've always been good at sports. I've always excelled in sports. Why not just take out some certifications, start training? I had a sales job at the time, so it paid pretty well. So I was able to go get a bench set, a squat rack, and a buddy of mine and that's all we did after work. We just one time at like
Started at home gym, a
yeah,
home little home gym.
we just started a home gym, man, and we just like reading all the muscle fitness magazines, watch the bodybuilding magazines, and the Ironman magazines. Also, we just look at all the different bodybuilders and their workout splits, and it's like, all right, let's do this workout. All right, let's do
Yeah.
this workout, and we just started following the sets. And
What's up, bodybuilding fans? Welcome to Texas Bodybuilding News. Another episode with Raw with Jason. As you heard, me and Joe were kind of talking about how he got into the bodybuilding competitive side of it, how I got, I'm going to talk to you how I got into the bodybuilding side of it, how it all started for me. Everybody has their own story of how they got into either into the gym, into bodybuilding, into competing, how many steps did it take you to get there. That's one thing I still remember, it was out of high school. I graduated 94. I think it was the summer of 94. I kind of got invited to a local gym here in Westaco. It was called the Westaco Fitness Center, WFC. And that's kind of was the only gym here in the Mid Valley at the time. And I remember going there and started lifting and, wasn't knowing what to do and kind of doing my own thing. And then talking to several people there and then kind of bought fitness magazines. I mean, that's what was our resources back then. Fitness magazines, something that has been obsolete now. And I remember picking up a couple magazines and just reading and researching and seeing what exercises to do and what to do and how to advance my lifting. But what really captured me and got me into it even more involved was the little changes that I saw in myself. You know, like I said, I was about a butt 35, maybe 130 when I graduated out of high school. So I was a pretty lean, skinny guy. I had a good fast metabolism. So that was one thing I learned to realize is that it was hard for me to gain weight and put muscle and put on size. I had to eat more and eat more and eat more. That's, how I kind of started putting on the size. But as training goes, why or how it got in me into it, and the passion I started feeling for it and the love of the iron was pretty ironic. I mean, I kind of started lifting and I started noticing those skin tight pumps, little muscles popping and it felt good, those pumps after you worked out. It just, you just felt great, you know. And after several months of lifting, even close to the year, I started getting real ripped. I started getting some more cuts. You know, I don't know if I can say I could put on size, but I mean, I saw more size because I started showing more muscle. So at that time, I wasn't sure if I was adding muscle or I was just leaning out and showing more muscle at the time, you know. But just seeing that change, it motivated me even more to do more. So I remember I wanted to figure out, well, how do I put on size? Well, nutrition was the next step, had to increase, food intake because I knew I was, no matter what I was eating at the time, I was not gaining weight. I mean, to me, my metabolism was very, very fast. The training was basically, old school style, a pyramid style back then. I remember a pyramid, you do your four sets of 12, 10, 8, 6, that's the kind of everybody was doing that, the pyramid, and every exercise we did, every body part we did, I remember doing, I think maybe upper body 3 times a week. And yes, I did legs. I would even do legs, at the time. I think I would hit that once or even twice. I would be at the gym, at least 5 times a week. I remember doing that. The weekends were kind of hard. I had 2 jobs, so I would be there mostly during the weekday. But I started incorporating, the nutrition. That's when I started noticing a little bit of muscle gain, a little bit more size, a little bit more strength. How I got into the bodybuilding was kind of just a spontaneous thing. At the time, there used to be a very popular bodybuilding show. It was called Bodybuilders Gym had a bodybuilding competition, you know, and it was like one of the big ones here in the Mid Valley at the time. It was a local show, pretty big, and I remember they had a poster there, and I remember looking at it, and Gina being my girlfriend at the time, I remember looking at it, and I remember telling her, I want to do that. And I remember she mentioned like, "Do you know what to do? Do you know what it's about?" I said, "No, but I mean, I'll ask around and see what it is. What do I need to do?" And I kind of took it as like a goal of mine, let to maybe push me more, I guess. But I remember seeing it and telling myself I want to do that. So I got into training. I remember doing endless cardio because that's what everybody said. Got to do your cardio. But I mean, I got pretty lean and quick, for this first bodybuilding show that I did. And it was held at the Club X. I remember doing it, and I ended up being. I think I got second place in the lightweight class. Like I said, it wasn't a sanctioned show. It was just a local show. It was a very well-known, popular show back then here. And then even in the same year or the following year, Tito from Brownsville, Mata, he had a bodybuilding show also. And I remember competing in that one, and I think I got first or second in the lightweight also again. Ripped again, but just not as much size as I thought I could put on. But it gave me a drive. It gave me more motivation to want to do more. I was so surprised in how my body would change. And that's how the passion of my bodybuilding started. And I wanted more. I wanted more. I wanted to learn more and improve my physique, you know, and then put on the months of training and then the years of training. And then I started slowly adding 5 pounds and another 5 pounds, 8 pounds. And then Cornerstone at the time was one of the biggest gyms here in the Mid Valley. I mean, in the whole valley. And I remember a lot of their trainers were there, and somehow they ended up coming up with a show, the Cornerstone Classic, and I believe it was 2000 or 2001, I believe. I'm not too sure the date, but it wasn't sanctioned either. But it got big. I mean, it was one of the biggest shows in the valley. It took over bodybuilders, competition, and I remember I did that one and I went up and I think I did lightweight again. But, I first started competing, I believe, at maybe 135 rip, 140 rip, 145. I mean, it was like that. Like slowly, I was adding my muscle, my size, But that one was one of the biggest shows that I'd done. It had more competition. It was kind of like a rivalry, big show here in the in the Valley area, and it got so big and popular that the following year, that's when it became NPC sanctioned, and that was my first NPC show, the Cornerstone Classic. And again, I came in, did my first show, and I ended up winning the lightweight class in bodybuilding because that's the only class I had back then, bodybuilding. But that's where my passion grew for the sport and training other people and being around, the gym, you know, every day, all hours of the and me when I was training. I mean, that was my life, being in the gym, training myself, and always learning to improve and to improve and to improve, reading, magazines, reading, bodybuilding books, to learn more about nutrition and training. But that's what got me into the drive and passion of competing, and it was like, okay, I want to beat my package in this time. I want to gain some more weight. I want to gain some more strength. I want to get more biceps. And that's what I like about this sport is that everybody calls it body dysmorphia, but I think that it's just a way for us to keep pushing ourselves, not wanting more. If we achieve this look, let's see if I can beat this look, in a couple months. If we lifted this much weight, let's see if I can lift a little bit more. So that was the drive in us, the body dysmorphia. I think that, you know, it's a different concept. To me, I don't see it as that. I just see it that, we want to improve and we want to get better and improve and get better. We're never going to be satisfied. Yes, you know, because we see the changes we've done in our body and we want more, you know. But bottom line is we all started somewhere, you know. Some maybe had more years experience in the gym. Some people uh, decided to do a competition right away. I kind of never thought I would get into the bodybuilding scene. I mean, I got into lifting to better myself, to better my physique, to just I hated that word. Oh, you're so tiny, you're so small, you're so cute. You just I hated that. That was something I didn't like, and that's how I got into body lifting weights, not bodybuilding, but lifting weights. Getting into the bodybuilding is when I told myself, I set a goal and I said, I'm going to do that show. And I did it and I fell in love with it. I mean, I just fell in love with the stage. I fell in love with the posing. I fell in love with getting feedback from people. I fell in love with my changes. I fell in love with people telling me appreciation of how I looked out there. I mean, all of that. I mean, that's as a bodybuilder, that's what we strive for. To try to bring our best on stage, and that's how my passion grew. So we all have a story. What's your story? How did you get into lifting weights to start off with? How did you get into your first bodybuilding show? Everybody has their own story on that. Some people continued with it, and some people just kind of did it as a bucket list to do one show and then that's it. And some people just find that love for it, and it's not a love hate to me. It's just I just love it, and I just wanted more and more and more, and I kept trying to push my body to the extreme where I did, end up winning my IBB Pro, after several years off and coming back and getting my pro card, I did something that everybody wants to achieve, everybody in the bodybuilding industry. That's something that is prestige and everybody wants to reach that goal. And I end up doing that, and competing in a couple pro shows as well. And now I want to help other people achieve that. As a coach, that's my goal, is to help somebody start from the bottom and get them to the top. Yeah. It's a continuous thing. It's a nonstop thing. It's something that you got to continue pushing yourself and keep getting better and better and better. And you will, if you're really passionate about it and you really, really want that goal, you will get that goal. You just got to keep at it. You got to keep at it. Got to stay consistent, you know? So let's cut it off right there. And I just wanted to kind of show you how I got into the bodybuilding, how I found the passion for bodybuilding, and how I love competing and kept competing and got to the highest point that we can as a competitor, which is, receiving an IBB Pro card. So put on the comments, how did you start into weightlifting? How did you get into bodybuilding? What was your first bodybuilding show experience? Did you enjoy it? Did you not enjoy it? We all have a
Oh,
story. If you guys interested in some great supplements, Jack Factory has some great line of supplements from pre-workout fat burners to protein. Just get on the bottom of my description. There's a link there. Use my code Jason, get a discount, 15%. If you have any questions on some supplements that you want to try, hit me up so I can kind of recommend some of the supplements. Be sure to subscribe to the channel. Click the bell button on top for get the notifications so you can get the latest podcast coming up. Also share with your friends. If you'd like to follow us on IG, Texas Bodybuilding News. For coaching, CoachJasonMartinez.com. For my team, Team Jack and IG. Got a couple of guests lined up also coming up next. So till next time, stay healthy, get that last rep in. Peace.